Calvin Morris, and I'm here today to review Doctor Who Lie of the Land. This is episode 8, series 10. I'm going to start off by saying, I don't know, it wasn't really a bad episode, but given that it was the conclusion to two other episodes, I can't really say it's satisfied. It was okay. It wasn't a bad episode really. There was a lot going on. There was a lot of themes being played out in the episode. But was it really a satisfactory finish? No, it wasn't. They need to do something else with the monks now, because this was almost like a prelude to dealing with the monks, and there just wasn't enough about the monks to really give pace to the show. Then there wasn't a sense of urgency, and that comes from the fact that really and truly the monks didn't want anything. They just sort of didn't do anything. There wasn't a purpose behind what they were doing. They didn't feel threatening. And I guess the part of the story was that benevolence can also be a threat. But it for me it didn't play out as well. It might have sounded really good on the page, but it's one of those things that when it came to shooting it, this episode again, it lacked urgency, it lacked pace. People were walking to the pyramid. They were walking to do things, and there was no running. And I know that's not really necessary, but there was just it was lackluster. And I felt the start of the episode was good. I felt that it reminded me of movies like Equilibrium or V for Vendetta, which are two films I do like. I do enjoy those films. It seemed to fall along the lines of democracy versus dictatorship, and even a benevolent dictatorship is still not prevalent, not preferential, I mean. So yeah, and it was also a story about how it was quite politically charged, because there was a story in there about how if you tell a lie enough times that people will start to believe it. So there was a lot of propaganda in there. Fake news, it was even mentioned. Fake news, because that's what's going on today. There's a lot of social commentary based upon what people believe living under a dictatorship versus what we think we believe living under a democracy, and how even though we should question more, I guess is the message of this episode. Yeah, there were a couple of things I liked today. Magpie Electrical, I saw that. Very good, nice little nod. Keep it up. But okay, let's get to things that I really did like about this episode. I liked the whole scene with the Doctor and Missy. I thought Missy's speech in that about how the Doctor's definition of what is good, it comes out of vanity and sentiment. And I feel like, sometimes people don't question the Doctor's moral centre, and they should. And it's one of those things that hardly ever gets brought up. The Doctor is we always go along with the Doctor because obviously he's the hero of the story and so on. But they don't question his morality enough over, why is this situation preferential to that situation. I liked the test that he set up, the big bluff with the regeneration, and that was kind of nice. I was starting to think, it was like, what is going on? What is happening here? And because obviously the doctor was going along with it to a certain degree, and it turns out it was just a test for Bill. But I was kind of hoping it wasn't. I was kind of hoping that the doctor had actually decided that it was better that way, and that humanity had made up its mind and it's not his fault. And he has to sort of go with, even though he believes it's not the right thing, that, because humanity has decided that's the right thing, that he was going to go along with it. And I was just expecting a little bit more out of that, but I still liked it. I still enjoyed it. I'm not really sure on the end of the episode, where it's kind of, love wills out. I don't know about that. It was just there's a lot to like about this episode. There is a lot to like about it, but it was kind of there. That's the best thing I can say about this episode. It wasn't a bad episode. It was just, it didn't really do anything. And they had 3 episodes. This is the 3rd episode in a build-up to this, what was going to be sort of like this, payoff. And it really didn't. Ugh. Oh, where would I put this? If I was ranking this out of 10, I'm going to give it a 6, really. Because it's not, it wasn't badly written or anything, and the story had a point and all that, but when it was all done and dusted and everything was finished and everything went back to normal, it kind of just left us with, well, you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. And that's really not a good enough end to this story. Again, there were plenty of things in the episode that I did like. There were absolutely things in the episode that I liked. The scene where they're going into the pyramid and they're all armed and they're all wearing the headphones and everything, and they get attacked by the monks. The fact that the doctor's told everybody that the monks have fooled people into thinking that there are more invaders than there actually are, because they sort of popping up here and there, and where you hardly ever see them. So it was quite a nice scene, particularly when he gets the earphones shot out and that guy reverts, so you can see the sort of the influence that they have over people. And again, it was a story about sort of overturning a dictatorship, but it just, that's all I'm going to say about this episode, really, is that the premise of this episode was better than the execution, and the story was lackluster versus what it could have been. And what it could have been, it was something that really satisfied, with who exactly the monks are, what exactly they want, what sort of purpose they serve. Because really, aside from being a higher power, they really didn't serve any other purpose to the story. So anyway, that's what I thought of this episode of Doctor Who: Lie of the Land. Again, not a bad episode so far this season, but this episode is a very weak episode. Plenty of big themes in this episode, plenty of politically charged commentary in this episode, but story-wise, I could take it or leave it. Anyway, that's it from me, and let me know what you thought of this episode. But until next time, I'll see you later, guys.